to AT Banter, the podcast where we discuss anything and everything regarding the world of assistive technology, with our hosts Steve Barkley, Rob Minot, and Ryan Fleury. Now, let's banter.
They're here. They're here. They're here. They're here. They're here. They're here. They're here.
We are here. Here we are. And welcome to yet another episode of AT Banter.
Banter.
Nice effect. I was just going to say, it's too bad I don't sit by the board anymore.
I know.
I could
turn on the reverb.
I could turn on the reverb and do some effects, but it's way back there. So different setup. So people just have to use their imagination. Who am I? I am Rotten Rob Minot. Today joined by spooky Steve Barkley and ridiculously evil Ryan Fleury and the reanimated
Tricky Ricky Dicky
who is joining us today for, what is this, Ryan?
Our annual Halloween Spooktacular. So we are going to open our Halloween trick-or-treat bags.
Yay! Oh, is it really? Is that
Yeah.
what we've got planned?
Describe what's in them, because I have no idea.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about some news stories.
Okay.
And if you guys want, there's beverages in the fridge.
Oh, really? Okay. Good.
We better
Good to
not be
know.
getting into the beverages already.
Halloweeny beverages.
What kind of beverages you got?
There's lemon iced tea, there's mango pop, and there's Dr. Zip.
What the hell is a Dr. Zip?
No name Dr. Pepper.
You got to be kidding me. Really?
Yeah.
Ugh. God.
He's a doctor, but he's from the Philippines.
Dr. Zip.
Dr.
Yeah,
Zip.
that's right.
And they don't recognize his credentials here. Rick's tunneling through his bag.
clearly.
I'm just hoping there's more in there than molasses caramels
There
that
should be.
pull your feelings out.
You are jumping the gun. Oh, God. If you, I'm seriously, if I get any of those, I'm totally willing to trade. Yeah, not podcast friendly or actually taste friendly. Any that's not.
Try them again. They're not as bad as they used to be.
All right,
You gotta at least try one.
Maybe for science later.
Yeah.
I'll try it out. Well, you know what? Before we get started, and I think this fits into today's theme of scary. We'll start out by answering some listener emails.
Yay,
Really?
we got mail. We got mail. Woo!
Yay.
We got mail.
Yeah, but here's the scary part, though. The first one is constructive criticism.
That's all right. We'll take it.
Which, no,
not
are you kidding?
constructive criticism.
I have a fragile ego. I can't be taking
we'll take
constructive.
all criticism, good or bad.
As long as they end with how handsome we are.
Okay, spark her up.
Okay, so we got an email from our longtime listener, Allie,
Hey, Allie.
who says, "Hello, guys. I feel you guys do a great job, but I wanted to provide some constructive feedback. I know you guys are joking around, but instead of saying how much you guys like your Android devices and hate Apple, really should not be the direction. The show is to provide the information. Majority of listeners are likely using iPhones. Is it possible? Can you guys look at providing the information rather than making fun of Apple? Thank you, Allie."
Short answer, no.
No, that is not the short answer.
The more politically correct answer is maybe.
No, that actually is completely a valid point. We do joke around a lot. It's a valid point. We really need to actually talk about Apple. It's a big part of the landscape, and you can't really talk tech without bringing Apple into the conversation.
And I'm working on a guest from the appleviz.com website who's been an Apple user since 2009. So we're going to have him on the show. It's going to be an Apple-centric show.
So, So, I mean, certainly we're going to still make fun of them and complain, but we'll also make sure that, we sprinkle in, actual useful information and, and talk about Apple devices a little more than we have, because you're right, we have been a little Google-centric, Android-centric.
That's funny because my wife got a new work phone. I've been on her case about her phone not holding a charge, and it'd go down and it'd be days before it'd come back up. And so I got on her case, and she got on her boss's case, and her bosses wound up giving her an iPhone 8.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you went from a BlackBerry to an iPhone 8. The learning curve is vertical for my non-techie wife.
Linda went from a BlackBerry to Samsung Galaxy S5, right to Android. So, yeah, very different.
Interesting. Well, speaking of Apple, I saw a story on the Twitter feed today about there was an engineer, I think in the UK, who worked for Apple, and his daughter, I guess.
Leaked the.
Yeah, I guess he had an iPhone 10 that he was using to take down to the cafeteria to use Apple Pay to eat at the Apple cafeteria.
Yeah, he was testing the app.
And I guess his daughter got a hold of the phone, and she was in the cafeteria and started did some video of her using the phone and some of the apps on the phone, and
boy.
And it got out there, and he lost his job.
Yeah, uploaded it to YouTube and
engineer for.
Yep. Yeah.
Apple.
Wow. She is grounded for like ever.
Yes. No kidding.
Those jobs don't come by easy or often.
Nope.
No. So,
Nope.
Ryan, sorry, so you have somebody lined up?
I do. We're just working on the date. I think I'm not sure what the date is going to be yet, but he's a contributor to the appleviz.com website, and he's all about Apple. So we'll get him on soon.
Excellent. Cool. So we got another email from Beth, who sent an email to atbanterpodcast@gmail.com.
Hey, Beth.
And actually, this email, I think Rick might be able to shed a little bit of light on this email because it's about batteries.
Okay.
But she says, the safety concerns of several laptops, iPhone, and Android phone models regarding dangerous battery issues, such as phones exploding, overheating, or breaking apart, should be our first priority. I am open-minded, but as of now, being totally blind, after researching this topic, I would feel extremely uncomfortable owning any smartphone. Laptops have had battery problems too, and this was still occurring as of January of this year with at least HP laptops. I found out that the iPhone batteries are lithium-ion. To my knowledge, so are batteries used in Android phones, laptops, and blindness-specific equipment, including note-takers and digital book players and recorders. I have never heard of any battery dangers concerning note-takers or digital book players or recorders. Maybe blindness equipment is immune, as I believe is true, due to a sighted friend's idea that phones are so thin that the batteries and connections get squeezed together and electrical safety problems can result. I would appreciate your input. Thanks, Beth.
Okay, well, I've got no direct knowledge of what is causing these issues with the various equipment that she's talking about. Now, having said that, most batteries these days are lithium-ion.
Right.
In some way, shape, or form. She's right. There are far less incidences of problems with adaptive devices. I'm not sure what the overall per capita failure rate is, but it seems that the big manufacturers are the ones that are going to get the most PR about it. You get a device from HP and it explodes, or Samsung and it explodes, or whomsoever and it explodes. Well, the media is going to be all over that because of who they are and what they're supposedly providing. So I understand your concern, and I agree with what you're saying. But you need to be very careful when you compare apples to oranges, right? I mean, all devices are not made the same way. The amount of current that they're drawing relative to the battery capacity, there's a whole bunch of things in the background that may result in what is happening at this point.
I think it's probably important to note as well that it's generally speaking not an issue with the batteries themselves. It's generally the charge circuitry that's charging
that's
the batteries.
charging the batteries in the background.
And, I think in the case of Samsung, it was their quick charge circuitry that caused the problem in the...
I think it was the
The Note.
Note 7.
Note 7.
Note
Oh,
7.
right.
My brother-in-law had one, and he never had any problems with it, and he was actually kind of had his nose out of joint when they asked him to return it to them. It's like, okay, you want me to return my phone to you? That leaves me with no phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So how about you send me a phone,
And I'll return this one
and
when
then I'll
I get
return
the other
this
one.
one. Yeah. But they were, just for liability reasons, Samsung was really keen to get those out of the hands of people because they just were dealing with a real PR nightmare at that point. But yeah, laptops. There have been laptop issues for years for overheating and causing fires, and in a lot of cases, it had nothing at all to do with the computer itself. It was oftentimes people would take it and leave it on top of a bed with a feather
Down comforter.
or
Yeah.
something.
And the device would overheat.
Yeah, so that would get sucked into the grills where the air intake is and block it off, and then the thing would overheat, and then the down would catch, and poof, next thing you know, you've got a nice burning bed.
And it's all the fault of the laptop.
Right, and it gets blamed on the laptop,
Right.
but actually it's misuse on the part of the person using it. So, there's various things. I don't think you need to swear off electronics at this point,
No.
but you do need to exercise some reasonable caution. And in the case of the Samsung one, well, that was a one-off, really.
Hasn't hurt them at all. They dealt with it in a really good way. Getting devices back, replacing devices, giving people discounts on new devices when they came out. And
Yeah, and
Samsung
they handled
still-
it well in the background.
Yeah, they're
Absolutely.
still one of the top cell phone providers.
Absolutely.
Well, it was interesting because Beth also included a link to a Wired article about that very thing. That the name of the article is "Don't Blame the Batteries for Every Lithium-Ion Explosion."
That's right.
And it says a lot of times it could be design flaws. They mention the fact that, and she mentioned it in her email, that the phones themselves are getting thinner and thinner. So
That's right.
they're getting squeezed in the pockets, and sometimes I guess there's
And the wafers of the battery are so thin that if you do indeed squeeze them or bend them or whatever, and the connections are, the space is just so tight,
right.
that it looks like a battery failure when in actual fact it is not a battery failure.
It's a design flaw, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember which phone it was, but or even who it was now. So somebody. Oh, it was my son. My son Mike. He had a phone, and he basically crouched down one day at work. He works as an electrician, and he broke the screen on the phone just because the phone flexed.
So
enough.
thin. Yeah.
Yeah. And
That was an iPhone 6, wasn't it?
might have been.
Because I replaced the screen on it twice.
Yeah, it could have been. But it's just the design was just too
Right.
flexible to practically be put into the pocket of somebody who was going to crouch.
So I wonder if that's going to be a problem that we're going to see more and more in the future as the phones get thinner and thinner and slimmer. At some point, there's going to be
There seems to be more talk of making flexible phones and flexible screens and bendable screens. So the next generation is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, and then you've got to have flexible electronics to go
Yeah.
along with them, right?
That's right.
So
Yeah.
flexible batteries. And
Yeah.
that's going to be a whole new thing. So
But to go back to the question, a specific question about the adaptive equipment, have you ever had a device come back to you that had an exploding battery?
I've had devices come back where the lithium-ion batteries are swollen to the point that if you were to puncture them in any way, that yes, they would. And that, they... how do I say this so that it's not going to get people's nose out of joint? and they were squashed into a hard plastic case. And when you took the case apart, you barely had to turn the screws, and you could see the clamshell of the case trying to force its way apart.
Right.
So yeah, I've seen it. It's pretty rare.
And oftentimes, too, I think that can happen when somebody plugs in the wrong charger.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when we get stuff like that in for repair, we don't necessarily know what caused it per se.
No, we just see the end result.
Yeah. And oftentimes, even the end user sometimes doesn't even know
That they've plugged the wrong charger in.
Yeah, that they plugged the wrong one in.
It fit.
Well,
so
the tip fits. It must be the right charger.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
doesn't make any difference that it's 19 volts at 3.4 amps. It's still fit,
yeah.
even though it was a 12 volt
Center positive.
device.
Yeah, and the other thing that this article warns about is also like cheap knockoff cables and chargers that you can buy
Yep.
off Amazon or off eBay that are kind of questionable.
And the other thing that I have found is people use those variable voltage, universal chargers.
Right.
Oh, well, let's make the little slider so it's
Oh, yeah, I
12
remember
volts,
those.
and let's make the output so it's 2 amps.
Right.
Yeah, it's all very well and good if you're talking low voltages, but when you start talking anywhere over half an amp or 500 milliamps, it gets pretty questionable.
Right.
I wouldn't be using one personally. Period.
Right. So I mean, it sounds like the takeaway to this is that adaptive equipment is pretty much rock solid, and
Use quality cables.
use quality cables and the manufacturer's charger, and you should be just fine.
And if you can't find the correct cables or the correct manufacturer's charger, use it for a couple of days on battery and order one.
Right.
They're not that hard to find.
Nice.
That's
a good segue.
That is a good scary topic though, because nobody wants their batteries blowing up.
I know. I thought both emails were very fit into the.
Is that all we got? Was 2 emails?
What do you?
Yep.
Dude, yeah, that's a lot for us. We usually get 0, so we've
Oh,
Yeah, that's
doubled our.
like 200% over normal.
And we love it. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks very much to Ali and Beth for sending those in.
Yeah, we appreciate the write-ins for sure. Actually, we had a third write-in this week too.
Wait, did we? I might have missed that.
We did. Longtime listener Sherry wrote in to say, "Hey, I want to come to the Guitar Dungeon."
Really?
We
Somebody
talked about-
wants to come to the guitar
Yeah,
dungeon?
she wants in, man. She wants to sit in and listen to us do our stuff. If only she knew how grievously unprofessional we are down here.
That's right. And how much editing I actually have to do on a weekly basis. Well, cool. Well, maybe we'll make that happen one of these days.
One of these days
I'm down with
we'll-
that. I'm down with that. We can pick a.
one of these days we'll go and steal CTV's mobile studio and park it outside her apartment.
I think we need to ask her a couple of questions. One, how is she with gratuitous use of the F-bomb?
Right.
And
I've heard her roll 1 or 2 of them out over the course of being a client.
and two, does she drink tequila? These are things we need to know.
Oh,
I'm sure she'll write in next week.
I think
How
that
do you feel
would
about
be,
Dr. Zip and tequila?
I think that would be a bad combination. Like really, really bad.
Hey, there was one other thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about. There was an article on the Twitter feed about a bunch of new things coming out, and they mentioned the Bristol Braille, the
Yep.
Knut.
Yeah, we talked about that
Yeah.
Yeah,
last
we
week,
did.
I think.
Yeah. So it mentioned that again, and mentioned that it was. It looks like they plan to start taking orders early in the year.
Yeah, and
next year.
They've replied to my email that they are wanting to come on the show, but they want to wait till the product's released. So
Sure. So
cool.
it sounds like January, February around
Yeah.
then they should actually start to take some orders. So who knows, that really could revolutionize things if this thing works the way that they're talking, and really drop the price of Braille.
Yeah, I mean it's not the fastest Braille technology on the planet. It's a little bit slow, but because they're doing multi-line, they've got time to refresh additional lines. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think there will be some hardcore Braille readers out there who are really going to cotton on to this as a reading device. We'll see. I'm a little leery right now. You know, I've looked at signing on as a dealer with them, but at the same time, you know, first generation device, first product from the company.
Yeah. Do you wait or not?
I think I do.
Yeah.
I think I do. You know, you want to make sure that the thing's rock solid before you commit.
And in this market, you need to tread very cautiously because, you know, once you lose somebody's trust with a device that might not be up to snuff, you may never get them back.
Yeah. So I might not have a scoop on it if I do go on as a dealer, but you know, if I do, it'll be because it's proven itself.
No, we can try and get a review unit.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
The other thing the article talks about, and I don't know if you've heard anything about this, Steve, but it's from a company called Equality Time. They made an app for tablet and smartphones called the Open Voice Factory.
Okay.
Which it looks like it's a
Prologue, to go.
Like a augmentative communication.
Yeah,
program?
sorry. It's an AAC program that basically turns the smartphone or the tablet into a communication aid, and it sounds like they have a few free page sets that I think they're free. But in any case, it sounds like they're trying to sort of drop the price in communication aids as well. But we've kind of seen that before, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah, we have. And I mean, really, at the end of the day, any of those AAC apps, it's going to boil down to what's under the hood. You know, what have they actually brought to the table for AAC? Because there's some that are out there that are, you know, really, really rudimentary and not particularly useful.
Right.
And there's some out there that have all kinds of features to them, but the symbol sets for them are absolutely bafflingly useless. Like you can't tell what one symbol means versus another. You know, there's a lot of variation in those AAC apps, and it's really got to be selected based on a person's abilities and cognitive level and what you're trying to say.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of factors that you need to take into account.
You know, if you want good AAC, it really should be done in conjunction with a speech-language pathologist who knows their AAC stuff, and an occupational therapist who can give you the best advice on how to access it and how to position things and so forth. I'd really caution people on just grabbing off the shelf AAC apps and going, oh, you know, here, this one's cheap, so we're going to use this one, because cheap and cheerful
it doesn't
necessarily make for good communication. You know, it doesn't necessarily have good communication strategies, and it doesn't necessarily have the vocabulary that somebody would want. You know, I could make an AAC app tomorrow that had a yes and a no button, and you could say, well, it's simple and it's a very light cognitive load, and it might work for one person in a million, but it doesn't make it a good AAC app. So.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I remember back to when we talked to Ilene Wholesome on our AAC episode. I mean, there's so much work to put together like a real working.
Years of research and development.
Yeah, like even right down to the iconography and the way that it's laid out and where it is and what words to include.
What the logic of the user needs to be to get to a spoken sentence.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not just a matter of just a bunch of
pretty
icons,
pictures. Yeah,
icons or pictures on a screen. And
now, having said that, they do have their place. You know, if you're an AAC user of a dedicated AAC device and your device goes down, then you can use one of these apps and get by. I mean, if you've got one of the good ones, Saltillo makes one. Touch Chat. You can certainly get by with an app on your phone while your device is being fixed. But as a long-term thing, I don't think it's the way to go.
Well, maybe this is what these developers are kind of thinking that this would be a good sort of backup app to have. I mean, maybe it's not really meant to be a long-term solution, but certainly one that, you know, if they are away from their device for whatever reason, or it isn't in for repair, at least they have a low-cost backup that they can fall.
Yep. Yeah, because a loaner may not be available. And I mean, your device has just taken a dip in the lake because you were excited to be at the cabin and you drove the wheelchair with the device off the end of the jetty. You know, you're going to be without your device for a bit because, well, it's gotten wet.
Yeah, and I mean, for those people out there that are listening that you know aren't familiar with these devices, I mean, these are expensive devices.
And that's probably the rationale behind an app like this too, because not everybody can afford one, and not everybody qualifies for funding for one.
That's true too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's
So
like
it's
12 upwards of what, $12,000?
No, they're not that much.
Or 8,000?
10. Canadian dollars, 10 or 12
Oh, yeah,
is
I
not
guess.
unheard of. By the time you factor in, you know,
I
if
guess.
somebody's getting like an eye gaze technology or a head pointing technology as
Yeah,
as
well, I
part of
mean, the
that.
one that I'm currently looking at selling off is 9,500 Canadian, and it's a 14-inch device with eye gaze technology, and it retails for almost 15 grand US.
Yeah.
Right, so that's a chunk of change when you start thinking about it from that perspective.
It is, and so, you know, when that device goes down and you have to get it fixed, I mean, it's not like you can just get a replacement, or you would have a replacement lying around. I mean,
Right.
it's a big deal.
Right.
And it's also, you know, a big deal when you have somebody who is now unable to communicate at all
That's right.
because their communication aid is
That's
down.
right.
So that might be where this really, you know, has its value, is that, you know, it can create a low-cost alternative.
And when you've got your $8,000 power wheelchair and your $15,000 device sitting on the bottom of the lake,
That's
it
right.
gets ugly in a hurry.
Where do you find an $8,000 power wheelchair?
What
the
are
bottom
power
of a lake.
wheelchairs worth?
Oh, like 30 grand.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah.
That much?
Oh yeah. Power wheelchairs are.
Well,
are
you see, I do no mobility
incredibly
stuff,
expensive.
right? I do no mobility stuff, so.
Yeah, it's not unusual to see somebody spend 20, 30 grand on a power chair.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You could buy a car for that.
Exactly.
Yeah, exact. Well, I mean, that's what you've got,
You know,
essentially.
and you could even adapt it.
The low rider wheelchair. Nay?
Yeah, I think an adapted car. What do they run? 100,000? 150,000? I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah, that's why it's such a big deal right now with the talk of Uber coming into the market here. You know, taxi companies are required to have a certain percentage of their fleet that's
Accessible.
that's wheelchair accessible, and they're screaming the house down because Uber
Is not required to.
Yeah, they can just walk in and go, well, screw the people in wheelchairs. We're just gonna you know.
That's not the
move
only
other
reason,
people."
though.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of protectionism going on there.
Yeah. But they have a valid point, I think. You know.
Oh, well, here, hold on, wait. I got, here's just one real quick thing. Not really related to us at all, but I thought it was cool. Tommy Hilfiger has released a clothing line designed specifically for people with disabilities.
I think it's great to have a top name designer take that on as a, hopefully not even a project, but as a full-time,
It's a full-time line.
a full-time line. I think
awesome.
that's fantastic.
Yep, the collection uses magnets and Velcro, making it
Yeah.
easier for people to get dressed and undressed.
Yeah.
Button-down shirts fasten with magnets so people can just pull them over their heads or get dressed with one hand.
Yeah.
There's 37 styles for men and 34 for women, and they actually unveiled a similar line for children with disabilities last spring.
Yeah.
So good on them
I think that's going to be really, really popular with the stripper crowd.
as well.
Ease of
Yeah.
access, buddy. Ease of access.
Magnetic shirt, you know, just pull it off.
And the buttons don't even go flying.
Go the full on Magic Mike, you know.
What happens if you're walking through an airport?
Yeah.
Your
exactly.
X-ray screening. Will the magnets affect that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
Every
if
time
they turn the X-ray on and your clothes fall off, you'll know, won't you?
All of a sudden your clothes are stuck to the outside of it. Well, there's an inspection.
Cavity search.
Yeah.
well, every time you go to the fridge, your shirt comes off. But
kudos to Tommy.
yep, good old Tommy. Just please drop the price. It's really expensive. I shop at Old Navy. As a setup, Ryan, set this up. What did you do? What did you do, man?
What do you mean? What did I do?
Well, what'd you get us?
I got you Halloween gift bags.
Like Halloween gift bags.
So there's some assorted things in there that Linda helped me pick out. So I think there's like a Halloween slinky.
There. Okay. Yeah. Let's get it. Let me find that. Yeah. There's a slinky. There's a
in
black,
there.
little black plastic slinky. But I don't think so. This isn't
I
a
got a purple
regulation.
slinky.
This isn't a regulation slinky though. I don't think this can go downstairs.
I don't know.
It's a good office slinky. It's a mini slinky.
Something to
really.
occupy your hands with.
All right. Thanks.
Some people are like slinkies. They're not much use, but they're fun to watch fall down the stairs.
That's right.
Well, what is this lip balm?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm not sure.
No, I think it's some
What to say on it?
fruity.
It's nothing. It's just
I think it's like a fruity dessert thing.
Yeah, I don't think there's lip balm.
It's like a fruit gel.
fruit gel. Thank you for the fruit gel, Ryan.
What else did you get?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm still.
Come on, it's like Christmas.
Okay, no, I got.
I got the Kerr's molasses candy.
Yeah, we talked about the Kerr's candy on
you're
last
right.
year's show.
And you're right, it's not as bad as I remember.
No.
Really? They must have refined the recipe after 200 years.
No, they have not refined the recipe. It's just our taste
Yep.
becoming more
Tolerant.
Oh, not mine. Okay, I'm still trading those away.
Yeah, they're actually not bad.
Dude, you filled them with. How many did you put in here?
I don't know. Linda put the gift bags together, so they were all equal.
Oh, and my favorite, rockets.
Yeah, me too. Actually, me too.
Love
Do
rockets.
you?
Yeah, those are the best.
I hate
Now,
rockets.
to our American listeners, you guys refer to them down there as Smarties.
What?
yeah.
They do?
They don't have Smarties in the States.
What?
Yeah, no, they don't. Well, they didn't. They might now, but they never used to have
Smarties?
Smarties from
No.
who's Smarties? That's
isn't it-
Cadbury, right?
I
Cadbury?
don't remember.
No. Smarties.
I think so.
Hold on, I'm gonna Google that one.
But yeah, in the States, sugar candies, which we call rockets, are called Smarties.
Huh? That's crazy.
And for our American listeners who might not know what a Canadian Smartie is, think of a chocolate M&M that will melt in your hand.
yeah, it's like exactly. It's like a chocolate M&M, basically.
Color coded.
Yeah, only made with decent chocolate.
Oh, I don't know. M&Ms are pretty good.
They're all
I like the M&M peanuts. I'm not big on the chocolate ones.
All right. So when I was a kid, Nancy Green came to my school. She was an Olympic downhill skier, and she'd won something in the Olympics. So she was doing the rounds of the schools, and she was doing kind of motivational speaking to kids. And at one point, we got to ask her questions, and my friend Bobby stood up, and he said to her, he says, "Do you really eat Mars bars?" Because she was the sponsor for Mars bars at the time.
Sponsored by Mars bars.
It's a valid question.
Yeah, and yes, she actually did eat Mars bars. So there you go.
They should have made her eat one right there. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
but-
prove it.
Yeah,
When you have the metabolism of a gerbil, you can eat whatever in the hell you want.
that's true.
Okay, so it looks like we got these Kerr's.
Molasses candies, yeah.
Got a Reese's Pieces. We got Mars. We got Snickers. We got O. Henry. Who wants an O. Henry? I will trade an O. Henry for probably a Reese or M&M's.
Here's a Reese.
Excellent.
There you go. Candy is now flying across
It is.
the guitar dungeon.
And I want someone to try whatever this is because I want to know what it is. I think it's lip balm.
No, we didn't get lip balm.
I think it's a jelly.
I don't think it's edible. Are you sure this is edible? It doesn't smell edible. It
I
smells
have
like
no
a
idea.
petroleum
I don't know.
byproduct.
I don't
Maybe
know.
it's a lube.
It might be lube. It actually smells a little like lube.
I have no idea.
Is this the Halloween love bag?
No, that one's
Yeah,
coming later.
You mixed the bags up, man.
Sorry, that was supposed to be in the bedroom.
A slinky and
See,
lube.
this is
You are
why-
kinky, man.
That's right.
This is why we don't have people to the guitar dungeon.
Yeah, sorry, Sherry.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'd have to
Yeah.
ask Linda.
Oh, you know what it is? It's goop. It's that.
Dude, I almost ate this.
Oh, it's putty.
Yeah, you almost got me to eat this, dude.
Is that-
Smell it. It's
yeah.
got
You're trying
that
to kill
really
me?
distinctive
Yeah,
smell.
I think it's putty. I think she got some putty. So you can play with putty.
Yeah, okay, thanks for letting us know or labeling it. Like, you're like, eat it, just eat it.
It might be good.
I totally would have eaten it.
You ate crayons as a kid. What are you worried about?
Okay, let's get back to this foolishness.
Oh, my God.
This can be a long show.
That's gross.
No, it can't be a long show. It cannot be a long show.
I haven't even got to our Halloween articles and news items yet.
All right. Ugh, that leaves like a really gross coat. Dude.
What? The putty?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to eat it.
No, I'm not. It's just leaving. It's like leaving a film on my hands. I get all over my rockets.
Alrighty, so we got news article number 1, which is
2017
she's a
most popular
babe.
Halloween costumes.
Gal Gadot. Oh yeah, she's a total babe. Have you not seen the Wonder Woman movie yet?
No.
Oh, fantastic movie.
Costume number 1, most popular. This year, no surprise, Wonder Woman.
And if you look like
Thank
that, man alive.
Thank you.
You could wear your Wonder Woman costume all year long, and nobody'd complain.
You heard them, everybody. He's given me permission.
I'm thinking the coworkers would complain.
Only the female ones.
Oh, yeah. And Harley Quinn,
Harley
number
Quinn?
2. Yep, there'll be a lot of Harley Quinns this year.
Yep.
Not surprised there. This is now this one I'm not surprised with either. Clowns. So yeah, I mean the movie It. I think
Pennywise, yeah.
I think they it was the highest grossing horror movie of all time at this point.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's done very well, and so yeah, you're going to see a lot of clowns this year. So for those people who are actually afraid of clowns, it's not going to be a good Halloween for them.
Moana?
Moana. Oh, interesting. Okay, sure. I could see that. A lot of little kids dressing up as Moana this
No,
year.
can't do it. It's cultural appropriation.
Well, it's an interesting
Topic for another show.
well, for a different podcast.
I have such a
But
hard
no,
time
but
with
it
this.
is okay. But go on a rant, because I'm curious. Like I know you said it is.
Now I know this is probably politically incorrect, and it's probably because I am a I am a cis white privileged male, but it seems to me that if a kid wants to dress up as their hero, they are paying homage to that hero. They are not denigrating the culture in any way. They are trying to show respect and admiration. Last year, there was that one costume that got pulled from the shelves.
Oh, yeah.
Which one?
It had sleeves. It was a Maori. It was another Disney flick, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, but it had a Maori costume, and it had sleeves with the
Tattoos on them.
Okay.
But it was dark skin because Maori.
Right.
And they ended up pulling it off the shelf because, heaven forbid, white kids might have worn it. But what about all the dark-skinned kids who wanted to do that? What are they doing? Do they got to actually get the tattoos? You know, it just made no sense to me. Anyways.
Yeah, it does. I think, and some of them, I think, have a valid point. And some of them it's going too far, and it's like that with any sort of given controversy like that. You just have people who take it a few steps too far and just start to get angry about everything.
Yeah. It's just gone so crazy of late.
Well, and and if we're going to really spin off into something completely unrelated to Halloween, though there is blowback in Hollywood of the same type of problem in terms of people with disabilities, right?
Right.
Hiring people who aren't blind to
To play
act.
blind people.
Blind
Yeah.
people.
Right, or fill in the blank, whatever, autistic, So I don't know where do you draw the line there as well?
Yeah, I don't know. I just like to raise the questions. I don't actually have any answers, folks.
That's right. atbanterpodcast@gmail.com. If you have the answer, let us know.
And in the meantime, y'all just be nice to each other, okay?
We'll take credit. Whoa, Rick doing some homemade Halloween noises over
Something's trying to break through.
there. The next top Halloween costume of 2017. This one's a weird one. Unicorn.
That is a little different.
I'm not sure why that is. Hold on, let's read the...
Yeah, has there been any particular breakout of unicorns of late?
Well, it says unicorns have had quite the year as well, with the limited edition Starbucks Frappuccino named after them that sold out at locations quickly. I did not hear anything about this. I honestly, I think they're making this up. I don't recall seeing anybody over the weekend wearing, being dressed up as a unicorn. And the picture that they use, it's an inflatable unicorn. It's not even somebody dressed up as a unicorn. So I would check their sources on this. I mean, this might
Move
be
on.
This might be fake news. I think that's it.
Really? Those are the top.
Five.
Those are the
So and they're all
Unicorns
they're all
beat the
girls
top
except for the clown and unicorns. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah,
So guys, there are your choices this year. You can either be a clown or a unicorn. That's it. That's all
I'd
you
go
got.
I'd go with a clown personally. Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe not, because you have to paint your face with that crap.
That is true.
You know what? After living in Hawaii, I'll go on Moana. I will go Moana. Thanks.
Interesting. Okay. Steve, go buy the
Just
outfit
picturing
right
you
now.
in a grass skirt. Oh no, let's not go there.
He came to our Halloween party in his fairy costume. Remember that he wore to Aruga? that one
really?
year?
Oh yeah.
As the FU fairy.
Yeah, that was good. Wait, so how was the Halloween party? Speaking of,
That was pretty quiet. Wasn't a lot of people.
There wasn't a lot of costumes either, you bastard.
It was supposed to be, but people just showed up without.
oh, don't you hate that?
Yep. But there was
Shouldn't have let him in.
lots of food. It's good.
When they're standing at the door holding a
a casserole
bowl of
or
food
bowl
and
or
a casserole and meatloaf and
Yeah.
stuff like that, Ryan's not going to turn them away.
That's a good
That's
point.
right.
Go away. Leave the food.
That's right. No, it was good.
You guys want to talk about the most popular Halloween candy by state?
No.
I read that one.
Actually, it's interesting, and I would like to know how they came up with these numbers.
I think it's just based on sales volume.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Go over some of the top
Well, yeah,
five or something.
I'll go over a couple of the more interesting ones. Like, for example, well, you know what? Rick, give me a state. Name a state.
Alabama.
Okay, Alabama. So what?
I'm guessing candy corn.
Well, Steve's right. Candy corn is
No
the
way.
number one Halloween candy.
It is crazy how many states candy corn is the number one Halloween candy.
Disgusting.
Alabamans
I know.
purchased over 55,000 pounds last year of candy corn. I don't mind them. I don't mind it, but I can only eat like 3, and then it's just like my body just shuts down. It's like, okay, that's
Well, you know what that is? That's the insulin in your
Diabetes.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's the insulin in your system shutting you down, and then you wonder.
Before somebody says it, yes, we know you can't get diabetes from eating sugar.
Okay, someone give me another state.
New York.
New York.
I'm gonna go with Milky Way.
New Hampshire, New Jersey.
Some sort of pizza candy.
This is interesting. Sour Patch Kids.
Sour Patch. Oh, you see, those I like. Sour Patch Kids are awesome.
Yeah, me too. Except the blue ones.
You don't like the blue ones?
No, well, because I don't understand what flavor that is. Like, what's blue?
Maybe blueberry?
No, I don't think it is. Well, I don't know. Like, blueberries aren't sour. Like everything else makes sense in Sour Patch Kids. You got the orange, which is orange, obviously. Yellow, that's a lemon. I think they've got a green that's like a lime.
Tart.
Right? And then they have these blue ones that just taste sour, but I don't know. No one can seem to tell me what flavor that is.
Blue.
Google would know.
Blue is
It's
not
blue flavor.
That'll work.
All right.
Okay, what's next?
Texas.
One more. Texas.
Texas.
That's got to be candy corn as well.
No, it's not going to be candy corn. You can't load that into a rifle.
Oh, this is funny.
Actually,
Okay,
I
this is
suppose you could.
this is funny. Okay, you're gonna laugh when you hear this.
Oh, hang on. I still haven't guessed.
Kind of fits.
Kind of fits.
Yeah.
Meatloaf.
Milky Way. I'm going with Milky Way
No.
again. No.
Starburst.
Starburst. Okay.
Figures it. Everything's big in Texas.
A salute to those rockets' red glare.
There you go.
Yeah.
which is going to come tumbling down pretty quick. If this keeps up at the rate it's going.
Interesting. West Virginia. Okay, here's a funny one. Isn't Clinton from West Virginia?
Clinton's from Arkansas.
Oh, dang. This would have made a perfect joke, but West Virginia, the top candy is Blow Pops. Which I don't even know what that is.
Actually,
I think it's those pyramid type lollipop things with different colors on them, like rainbow pops almost. Maybe. I could be totally off. I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
unsure.
I don't see any of my favorite this is all
American.
They have a lot of candy we don't have, though.
Yeah, I guess so, but they a lot of Snickers.
Alaska.
Hot tamales are
Oh, those are good.
Oh, I like tamales.
Yeah.
those show up here quite a bit. Milky Ways, M&Ms, Skittles, of course, they're all class. But you know what? M&Ms and Skittles don't seem to be.
Wait.
Nearly in the
who
top.
likes Jolly Rancher? Utah? Come on, Utah. Jolly Ranchers? Really?
Ryan wants to know what Alaska likes.
It's because there's ranchers out there, isn't it? You're just playing on words.
Alaska? Okay, hold on. Alaska. Who do I think Alaska might be?
Peanut butter cups.
Okay.
Beef jerky.
151 proof rum.
No, you're all wrong.
Candied salmon.
You're all wrong. Twix.
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 Twix
Who
are
knew?
good.
Followed by Blow Pops and Kit Kat. Wow. Yeah, it's interesting. I would like to see a like-minded article about the provinces and see what.
Yeah, there probably is one. I just didn't look.
That's fine. We don't care that much.
Let's Google it.
Let's not.
Okay, someone Google it. All right. While I look up the next.
Rob's shoveling food in his face.
I'm eating these rockets. I can't. You put these rockets in front of me, and I can't not eat them.
Oh, they're too sweet for me.
We want to trade? Let's see what I got.
You want to trade? Let's see what I got.
I'll give you some Mars bars. I'll give you some Mars bars. You like Mars bars?
I'll do your
Or Snickers?
I'll do your molasses candy.
Oh, God. There we go. Sold.
Whatever you don't want, Rob,
Yeah.
I'll give you my rockets.
Okay. All right, cool. I'm just going all rockets. Sucker.
Now,
you
I didn't-
gave them to me first.
I didn't find the top candy by province, but I did find out that Albertans are the top candy providers at Halloween. You go, Alberta.
Really?
Yeah. Good for them.
Wait, what are they? I wonder what do you mean they're the top, like they give out the most candy or they actually make candy?
Or they buy the most.
Yeah, what's that mean?
They give out the most.
Oh, they give out the most.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. The oil fields are all out of whack. That might change this year.
You think
They got a new NDP government and
you think the largesse might have fallen off a little bit there?
I think so. I think that this year things might be
Changing of the
did
guard
you
again.
lose a candy?
There's a lot of crinkling going on in the background here.
Oh, Rick lost the candy. I think he's very concerned about.
Yeah, I can't let Benji get it.
Yeah, look at that. More than 7 in 10 Albertans, or 72%, will hand out candy to kids this Halloween. That's compared to the national average of 54%. Really? The national average is 54%? That's pretty chintzy.
And the same poll suggests that those in Quebec are the least likely to hand out candy, with just 32% of people taking part in the tradition.
Come
Wow.
on, you guys.
Sacre bleu!
Yeah, come on.
Tabernacle, Quebec.
Come on.
Oh, there's a handy little chart. Okay, so by province, handing out candy: BC 65%, Alberta 72%, Saskatchewan and Manitoba lumped in together at 64%, Ontario 52%, Quebec 32%, and Atlantic Canada 68%. So us coasters, we're up in the mid to high 60s.
Yep, that's pretty good.
Alberta's good. Saskatchewan, Manitoba are good.
We are the
But
most.
for some reason, Central Canada, Ontario, and Quebec just sort of drop off there.
I don't know what that is. Do they have their own Halloween tradition? Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
The voyageurs didn't participate in,
Yeah, they
in
didn't.
Halloween.
They didn't have costumes, so they just never bothered. So for
That was a rocket coming in.
now there's candy being hurled.
And considering Ryan can't see where he's throwing, that's not bad. Yeah, you better put on your safety glasses.
Right.
And we've got carving pumpkins. The national average is 35%. In BC, 56% of people carve pumpkins. Alberta, 38%. Saskatchewan, Manitoba, 46%.
That's low.
Ontario, 35%. Quebec, 17%.
Wow.
And Atlantic Canada, 31%.
Well, and this does seem a little low, but what I'm wondering is, like, so for example, like, I don't hand out Halloween candy, but that's only because I live in an apartment.
Right.
And so it's not really. So I just wonder if that is reflected in these numbers as well, like apartment dwellers and stuff. Like, I wonder if this is, of people who could hand out Halloween candy.
Oh, there's got to be a margin of error built into it.
I would think so, because that just seems low. Like, what kind of Grinches don't give out Halloween candy? I mean, come on.
French Grinches, apparently.
Well, I imagine it's probably cultural, right? Like, you go to Britain, there's no Halloween. There's Guy Fawkes Day, but there's no Halloween.
Really?
And I imagine that it's just a reflection that Halloween in France just isn't a thing.
Maybe.
So it's probably all there is to
Apparently
do.
not in Quebec either.
But here's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Watch scary movies.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's almost dead right across
the country.
BC 34, Alberta 25, Saskatchewan, Manitoba 37, Ontario 33, Quebec 35, Atlantic provinces 37.
Boy, what a bunch of no fun. Wear a costume to work, 16%. That's. I mean, that kind of doesn't surprise me. I mean, because not every workplace has a.
Hey, and look,
Has a Halloween thing.
BC's leading the way. We're number one in something.
Yes, 25% of people in BC
We'll wear a costume to work.
Interesting.
Go figure. And
Yeah.
lowest is Saskatchewan, Manitoba, where it's going to freeze their nads off if they try. So.
No, it's not the lowest.
Oh, that's
Atlantic
right.
province is 9%.
Atlantic provinces, yeah.
Well, I mean, you could have ice hanging off your nads in the provinces.
Or a lobster could grab on. Hi, boy, you wouldn't want that to happen now, where it did there.
I think not.
Oh, my. Okay.
Oh, Ryan, you're a sight to behold with those spider glasses on, man.
Oh, man. I'm feeling the sugar rush now. I just ate an entire thing of rockets.
Red glare.
What else? What else we got? No, let's not do that one. Best and worst Halloween candy? I mean, I don't know. What's your... Well, I think we kind of already talked about this. But
Yeah, it's pretty subjective, right?
all right, this one ranks them.
Okay, what does it rank as the dead worst Halloween candy?
Curs.
No. Well, this particular article from a website called Eat This, Not That, it's health oriented. So they're looking at calories and sugar and stuff. They're not looking, but apparently I'll give you the best. The very best Halloween candy, if you're counting calories, apparently, are Jelly Bellies, jelly beans.
Really?
Which, yep. They
figured.
only have 4 calories per jelly bean.
And you know what? You only have to
And
be making $500 million a year to be able to afford Jelly Bellies.
that's right. Those are expensive. Those are one of those things you go to buy bulk, and it's like, oh yeah, this looks like about 100 grams, and then you go up and you've just bought 3 pounds of Jelly Bellies because you can't weigh worth of crap. And the very, very, very worst is something called Airheads Mini Bars.
Never heard of it.
I am not
Familiar with
sugar and
at all.
filler carbohydrates, artificial colors and flavors, and partially hydrogenated oils.
Ooh, give me some of that.
And
Oh,
the source
boy.
of trans fats. Just 3 mini bars has more sugar and calories than half a cup of Edie's slow-churned mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Bleh.
Yeah. Oh, and then your tamales. Tamales are the second worst.
Oh, well,
That must be why we like them.
must be.
Yeah. Yeah, the main 2 ingredients on tamales are sugar and corn syrup with modified food starch forming the hard shell.
Nice.
Meanwhile, the red color comes from Red 40, which Canadian researchers found to be contaminated with known carcinogens.
Woohoo!
So there you are. Tamales, cancer.
Whenever I hear known carcinogen, I always think back to that George Carlin line, Scientists announced today that saliva causes stomach cancer. However, only when taken in small amounts over a long period of time.
You know what? And the other thing that ranks pretty high, Jolly Ranchers, not good for you.
Oh, well.
But really, I mean, what is like, you know?
It's a good thing Halloween only comes once a year, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'm trying to find it. Where are my rockets? Candy corn is.
They won't have
19.
rockets on there because
Rockets
it'll be, well, if it's on there, it'll be listed as Smarties, is clearly an American.
I see. Sour Patch Kids. Yeah. So.
And actually, I seem to recall that it is listed towards the bottom.
Right.
Okay, move along.
All right. Anyways, so that was interesting.
What else you got for us, Robbie?
So Steve, okay, so we're going to talk about 8 super weird things that we, and probably you, dear listener, did not know about Halloween. Go,
And
Steve.
this is courtesy of Huffington Post.
Fake news.
Can you click?
Sorry, I was wondering how you were going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, number 1. Originally, you had to dance for your treat. Most experts
Mummering.
trace trick-or-treating to the European practice of mumming or geising, in which costume-wearing participants would go door-to-door performing choreographed dances, songs, and plays in exchange for treats.
Wow.
We still mummer in
Yeah.
Newfoundland.
Do you?
Really?
Really?
Yeah, Christmas. Yep.
Halloween is more Irish than St. Paddy's Day.
I've heard this.
Really?
Yeah,
Comes
'cause,
from a Celtic festival for the dead called, and I'm going to say it wrong, Samhain?
I know it's pronounced weird, Simon, or
Yeah, something like that.
sorry, all you Wiccans out there.
Samhain. If you happen to speak Celtic, then you just give us a holler and tell us how that's spelled. How that's said.
we're gonna get a lot of hate mail from the Wiccans community.
That's right. Celts believed the ghosts of the dead roamed Earth on this holiday, so people would dress in costumes and leave treats out on their front doors to appease the roaming spirits.
And they're not superstitious or anything, the Irish.
No, it's like the little people. They're not real, but they're there, you know. Number 3, if you'd been around for the earliest Halloween celebrations, you might have worn animal skins and heads. Well, there's nothing wrong with doing that today.
That's right.
Well, unless, you're going to
So
a PETA
once-
party, in which case, don't recommend it.
No.
Jack-o'-lanterns were once made out of turnips, beets, and potatoes, not pumpkins.
So I could see that. I could see that. Back in the day, you're not going to waste the pumpkin by carving it up like a jack-o'-lantern. You're going to actually use that to feed your family and make soup and whatever else.
Yep.
For your family for a week. So I'm not surprised that they would just because who the hell wants turnips or beets?
Following this show, I am going to drop you off at SkyTrain, and then I am going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to buy a pumpkin specifically for the purpose of making ginger pumpkin soup.
Yeah. See. I'm telling you.
Ginger pumpkin soup. I look forward to doing it every year.
I'm sad that people like waste pumpkins. I think the pumpkin's an unsung hero in the vegetable world.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, continue.
All right. Number 5. Halloween used to be a great day to find your soulmate. Okay. In some parts of Ireland, people celebrated Halloween by playing romantic fortune-telling games according to Nicholas Rogers' Halloween from Pagan Ritual to Party Night. These games allegedly predicted who they'd marry and when. Since Halloween, like Valentine's Day, was one of the main celebrations of the year where young people could mingle with the opposite sex, it was also considered a good day to scope out a sweetheart. Oh, there you go. Who knew?
Oh, I like this one.
In a few American towns, Halloween was originally referred to as Cabbage Night. It came from a Scottish fortune-telling, and trust the Scots to blow a good Irish tradition, eh? Sorry, Scots. Sorry. This came from a Scottish fortune-telling game where girls used cabbage stumps to predict information about their future husbands. In the early Framingham, Massachusetts, teens skipped the fortune-telling and simply went around throwing cabbage at their neighbors' houses. That sounds more like one of our traditions.
Excellent.
Number 7.
So what happened is the young women wandered around with a cabbage, and if you had limp cabbage,
Nope. Yeah.
Never mind. Let's not go there either. All right, number 7. Some animal
Yes.
shelters won't allow the adoption of black cats around Halloween for fear they will be sacrificed.
Yep.
And that would just be nasty and cruel and mean, and don't hurt the kitties. Don't hurt any animals at Halloween, you sick buggers.
Yeah, really. Just only cabbage. You can throw cabbage
Right.
around.
This
That's
is strictly a torturing a vegetable event, okay?
Yeah, carve up your vegetables.
All right, and number 8.
Okay.
Studies have shown that Halloween actually makes kids act more evil.
What? Okay, what is this?
As IO9 points out, putting costume-wearing kids into groups and introducing a clear object of desire such as candy has been shown to lead to de-individualization. This psychological team explains what happens when a group of maturing young minds begin to care less about the consequences of their individual actions, leading them to do things that they might not do alone.
The mob factor.
One study in particular found that unsupervised costume children in groups were far more likely to steal candy and money than both non-costumed kids and children not in a group. Another similar study found that masked children were significantly more likely to take more Halloween candy than they were supposed to if they believed there was no adult supervision. Well, I totally believe that.
No, sure. If there's a bowl of candy sitting outside somebody's front door,
Yeah, but-
it's free for the taking.
Well, sure, but that's not nothing to do with Halloween, or even that they're wearing costumes. That's just a psychological fact.
That's like the kid who came up to our house last year, the year before, just emptied the bowl in his bag.
Sure.
Yep.
Just the whole thing. Just picked it up by the edge, dumped it in the bag, put the bowl back, and walked off.
Rat bastard.
Oh,
So there you go.
I have way too many rockets.
Now
I
you
only have
keep-
2 left.
Oh, yuck.
My
Alrighty.
stomach hurts. Rick, thanks again for coming out and sitting in.
Oh, not a problem.
Why don't you tell the fine folks where people can find you around?
A couple of options. chaostech at shaw.ca or my webpage, chaostechnicalservices.com. And it's got contact information on there. Give me a call.
Yep, if you have a device that's busted, or you need a battery, or you have any sort of problem with your device.
See if
Give 'em a
I can
call.
conjure you up a solution.
Ooh, nice. So good use of the Halloween theme. I like it.
Good vernacular use there. Yeah.
God, we need to have you on more often. You elevate the show.
Tell me something I don't know.
All right, Steve, tell people where they can find you while we're at it.
Well, they can find me at www.canasstech.com, and that's spelled exactly as you think it would be. I am also emailable at steve@canasstech.com. He can be phoned at 604-367-9480. And I got a Facebook page, Canadian Assistive Technologies.
Hey, Ryan,
Rob,
where can people find us?
they can find us online at www.atbanter.com.
They can also email us and probably get their email read right here on this very podcast. If you email atbanterpodcast@gmail.com.
And on top of that, we also have a Facebook page for AT Banter, as well as a Twitter feed and an Instagram account.
Fantastic. All right, well, that's going to about do it for us. Everybody, I have been Rob Minot.
I am Steve Barclay.
I'm Ryan Fleury.
And I am still Rick Chant.
And we will see everybody next week.
Have a very spooky ween.
Be safe.
Oh, don't be like me and eat too many rockets. I'm serious, I don't even know lunch
Rocket
now.
Man! Eating all the rockets he had in front of him.
I saved 2.
This podcast has been brought to you by Canadian Assistive Technology, providing low vision and blindness solutions across Canada. Find us online at www.canasstech.com. That's CANASSTECH.com. Or call us toll free at 1-844-795-8324. For all your assistive technology servicing needs, call Chaos Technical Services at 778-847-6840 or find them online at chaostechnicalservices.com. Music provided by bensound.com.